Hello, hello. I think we're on day 14 of these shame stories. Today's topic is kind of like the elephant in the room. For me, the most shame I feel, the area of my life where I've accrued the most shame, is around alcohol. My drinking. And it's so interesting because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, where it began, right? When did I start drinking? Well, I started drinking in middle school. And it was like, to be part of the group, to have fun. So there was, I think I started drinking because of shame. I was ashamed of who I was. I wasn't good enough sober, And it's funny because then you get more shame because of the things you do while you're drinking. I can't tell you how many times I've woken up the next morning with just I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. Who was that, And so many times, so much shame in there. Also, being a child of an alcoholic, I'm well aware of the pain, of the damage that gets caused from the behaviors I was doing. I know the damage. It's with people who are in relationships with alcoholics. They tend to take on a lot of shame, a lot of responsibility for the alcoholic. And that's how it all started with me, was feeling like there was something wrong with me, and that's why she drank, And I know that sounds crazy, and I still battle with it today in other relationships with drinkers. And even as an adult at 41 years old, knowing what I know, I still have to tell myself it's not me that's making this happen. So there's that. But then knowing the damage that it causes my kids, that was the biggest. And I'm not at all through clearing this. Hopefully this helps. I'll let you guys know. I've been working on it for a while because I do know that it's not how I wanted to show up. I do know that it was me doing the best I could with what I knew. I do know that I am always trying to find better ways. And so with that, giving myself that grace, knowing that, I forgive my mom for what she did. And I know that she was doing the best. You know what I mean? So, not that I expect them to forgive me, because that is something that they will get to either do or not do. But it's embarrassing, the panic attacks I used to wake up with. And for the longest time, I just thought they were just, I don't know, random panic attacks, but it was all because of the drinking. They even have a name for it called anxiety. I was getting that all the time, so it's like we can't take any more shame. Then my DUI was kind of the bottom for me. I never really wanted to drink and drive, but during that time, I was kind of testing my limits, and it was it was so hard, but at the same time, it's the best thing that happened, because I had been trying to get sober. And I'm not like 100% sober. I don't tell myself I can't drink, because that is a recipe for disaster with me. But most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, I just don't want to drink. And if I do, I get curious about it now, and I don't shame myself, which is very helpful whenever you're trying to like detangle why, because there's so many reasons why we drink. But my DUI, I had been trying to get sober for a couple years, and I had it like whenever I first, the worst of my drinking, I was drinking like the huge bottle of Jaeger every night to every other night. Like I could kill that bottle in a night. Not this one, but this one, like the really big one. And that was because I was on some antidepressant that blocked whatever. So it was not a healthy time. It was really not a good time in my life. So that's where it started, was like getting blackout. Well, I wasn't blacking out because the antidepressant didn't allow that. I was just like, I was waking up in the yard in the middle of the night. It was crazy. It was crazy times. And so that's where I started. And then I started trying to get better on my own. So just kind of like, instead of every night, every other night, to every 3 nights. So by the time that I got my DUI, I was like once every other week. So I was doing better, and I was making strides. And what I was doing during this time was, if I wanted to drink, before I drank, I needed to like figure out why. Like, what was it that I was trying to get from the drink? And I would journal about it. And it's very interesting to read those now. But, you know, it's like courage to be able to express myself, to have a good time. If I was angry, to calm me down. You know, there's probably more reasons, but I can't think of them right now. But as I did this, like, the reasons became less and less, because if you know that, like, let's say for courage, right? You need to say something scary to somebody. Like, learning to have difficult conversations is uncomfortable. But the thing about alcohol, and this is what I would do with myself, right? Like, if I have this difficult conversation drunk, how is it going to go? You know, you play the story out. And it's like getting the courage on your own to have that conversation, which isn't easy to do, but doing that makes you like more confident in yourself, and then you don't really need the alcohol for that anymore. Like having fun, you know, if you can allow yourself to do what you want to do without it, you know, then you don't really need it to have fun anymore. But when I got the DUI, they put the anklet on me, and if I were to drink, I would go to jail for a year. So that pretty much made it so that I couldn't drink, and that stayed on for like a year. And then I was on probation for like another year. And that whole time, like, being on probation is a whole another level of shame. The fear that's involved with it, like if you get pulled over, you could go to jail. If you do anything wrong, which, like, I'm not out, you know, doing a bunch of crap, but it's still so scary. And yeah, like, you feel like there's something wrong with you because you don't know the better way. You don't know how to not drink. You want it so bad, but you don't know what else to do. And then that makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. And then so you drink, and then you do, you know, more stuff that you feel ashamed of. So with this, where I started de-shaming with my alcohol use, was just recognizing that I was doing the best that I could. And really, like, if I can take myself back to her when she was having these bad nights, right? Like, what was she feeling? What did she want? Like, why was she feeling the way she was feeling? And as I go back and do that more and more, it just releases it. And there's a lot to release. So this is taking a little while, you know? But this one is a vicious cycle. It starts from shame. So you do the drinking to get rid of the shame, and then it piles on more shame. And you feel shame because you can't stop. And it just keeps. So the first thing to do is to realize that you're not a bad person. You're not. Maybe the choices you're making aren't the best, but you're not a bad person because you drink. You are finding a solution to your problem. So just finding different solutions. The de-shaming of it is huge. Whenever you can recognize that you're making bad choices, that doesn't mean that you are inherently wrong or bad. It creates space for new ideas, new opportunities, learning about things that will actually move the needle for you. If you're struggling with this, my heart goes out to you. I feel for you. And you can do it. We can do it. Bye.